How is it that country hams can laugh in the face of refrigeration without ill effect? Because they're dehydrated biological salt licks, hibernating mud skippers, mummies, if you like. And mummies just aren't known for their good looks. Of course, if you'd been packed in salt and hung up in a sack for a year or two, you'd probably need a long soak too. And that is all that this needs. But we've got this hawk down here. Now, I admit that makes a very respectable handle, but in the world of kitchen currency, this has higher value elsewhere, i.e. a big old pot of collard greens. So ask your butcher to take it off, or take matters into your own hands. When you come up, there we go. Now, we'll freeze that and use it later. As for this, well, it needs to soak, but I don't have a pot this big. But I do have a cooler. It's even got a little drain right here on the bottom for easy water changes. Now, why would I want to give a ham a bath? Well, the same reason we brined that turkey in our Pulitzer-winning episode, Romancing the Bird, only backwards. Imagine, if you will, that this night spot is our ham, and it's packed with salt, played by these dorky-looking guys. Now, we want that salt out of there, but we're going to have to go in and get it. That means getting past this salt membrane, which is a kind of biological bouncer. Lucky for us, he's got a weakness for balanced osmotic pressure, so he'll happily let water, played by these lovely ladies, slide right on by. When they come out later on, they've got salt in tow. Of course, if we want to get more salt out, we'll have to send more water in. Which is why I'll change this water twice a day for 2 days. That looks good. By the way, if you're going to do this outside, be sure to stash your cooler in the bushes, else somebody's going to steal your ham and hawk it. Never mind. What does our country ham have in common with Forrest Gump? Just going to drink about 13 Dr. Peppers. Well, maybe not 13, but certainly enough to come half to 2/3 of the size of this disposable aluminum roasting pan. Now, you can use any flavorful liquid you like, apple juice, wine, cola, beer, whatever. I tend to think sweeter is better, and you know, the doctor just brings a certain twang to the party. Of course, if you had some sweet pickle juice on hand, sweet, you could bring that on too. Next, we need a tent made from 2 pieces of white aluminum foil crimped together down the middle. That's going to look kind of like something that fell off of Mir, okay? Now just crimp that on to the edges of the pan, all the way around. Get a good seal, but don't push down on the ham. We're not trying to wrap it, we're trying to tint it. Give it an environment where the heat and moisture can circulate around. There, good seal. And into a 400-degree oven for half an hour. Now when that's up, drop the oven temperature to 325 and cook for another hour and a half. Then pull the whole thing out, take off the foil, and flip the ham over so that the doctor can get to work on the other side of the ham. Cover it back up, put it in, and then insert the probe of your probe thermometer into the deepest part of the ham and set your target temperature for 140 degrees. Now, if you don't have one of these, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that you're going to have to come back every half an hour and check the temperature by hand. How long is it going to take in the end? Well, that depends. We have ham. Now, if all has gone well, we will have a dark mahogany beauty. There. Thermometer out. The moment of truth. There we go. Mirror won't be using that anymore. Now, that looks great. You notice that the meat, which used to be all the way up to the level of the bone, has drawn up, so it's really plumped up and gotten juicy. In fact, yep, see how loose that bone is? That's what the old-timers would use as kind of a pop-up thermometer. So this is more than ready to go, but it needs to kind of rest for about half an hour before we carve. And that's going to give us just enough time to bone up on porcine anatomy. Here is our ham. Here, of course, is the rump end. This is the shank end. Now, this little critter right here is called the H-bone, and it is a very inconvenient bone to have to get around. It is connected to the leg bone's connected to the knee bone's connected to the shank bone's connected to, well, would be connected to the foot bone. Only this little piggy didn't make it to the market with its trotters intact. Now, here's our strategy. We're going to harvest most of our slices from the bottom 2/3 of the ham, starting from the shank end and moving our way upwards. That way, we will avoid the H-bone and its blade confounding configuration. So here we have the knee, and I'm just going to take a chunk off of the rump right above the kneecap. Now we've got kind of a nice platform to work there. So I'm going to come back about an inch from the shank and take out a wedge. Now just follow this angle. Use it almost as a template for slicing all the way back to the dreaded H-bone. Just remember, whatever you do, country ham is strong juju, so slice thinly. Now, besides the traditional applications, my favorite of which is biscuits and ham, you can basically use this in any way that you would, say, prosciutto. You can wrap it around pieces of melon and toss it with some asparagus, maybe. What I usually do is carve the whole side like that at the table, serve up everybody, then go back in the kitchen and just lop off the rest of the big pieces of meat and just carve it up whenever. That'll leave you with the main piece of the rump at the end. You can pick that off and put it into, I don't know, soup beans if you like, and then of course that leaves the bone. And the bone, of course, is a whole nother matter.